This show is brought to you in part by viewers like you who joined a Patreon or become YouTube members. Thank you. And if you could, hit the like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content.
All right, you guys had a ton of questions after the Browns game on Sunday. This is the opportunity to answer these questions. So let's just jump into it. First question comes from Rod, who says this: Cam Mitchell cannot play another snap for us. You agree, Q? I mean, we really got to find a better answer than Cam Mitchell. I agree with that. Like, it was obvious during training camp to me Cam wasn't going to be very good. And then it was obvious during the preseason that Cam wasn't going to be very good. And now we're in the regular season and Cam isn't very good. Now, I do want to be fair to Cam because I've shat on Cam a lot over the last 2 months, right? Cam Mitchell has gotten a rough deal from me over the last 2 months. I've been ardent about him not being good enough to play that position. He got beat not because he was playing poor technique most of the time, but because the person catching the ball across from him was simply better at football than him, which, I mean, that's kind of part of the problem with Cam Mitchell, right? So, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do at that slot corner position because you can go out and try to get Mike Hilton, but he's not that guy anymore. He's not going to be very helpful to you in coverage. Like, we've all seen Mike Hilton try to be a coverage guy over the last, it's not been good. So, you know, it's a tough position to fill right now, this late. I think they kind of bet on Cam being able to hold that spot once the Martin Emerson injury went down, and he can't really do it. So, honestly, they're probably going to have to find alternative ways of working around his limitations rather than just straight up trying to get another corner to replace him. Like maybe getting more boundary guys so you can feel more comfortable sliding Greg into the slot, maybe playing more linebackers in coverage. Like, you're just going to have to work around it. It's just going to be one of those things because I don't know if there's an obvious solution personnel-wise that you can just go out and grab and get for the prices that would make sense for where this team is right now. So, yeah, it's a awkward spot for sure. Keats asks me this: how much longer should they roll with Joe Flacco? I just think he needs to get you out these first 6 weeks. After that, you do whatever you want. I did a whole video on it early this morning. If you want to know more about why I don't think Joe Flacco is getting benched anytime soon, and when I say anytime soon, within the next few weeks, it's because I think he just needs to get out the first 6 weeks. If he gets out the first 6 weeks, he would have served one level of his purpose. But before I get into the next question, I want to thank my sponsor for today, Sleeper. Hey, I've been using the Sleeper app for years as a fantasy football app, but it has so much more to offer. NFL season is in full swing. There's so much going on. And another feature I like to use on Sleeper is the picks feature. Now, I just used this feature last week, put up some predictions, and all those predictions ended up being right. Ended up making about $50 from the whole thing. And if you want to join in on the fun, make sure that you sign up for the Sleeper app. Use my promo code Worst Take when you sign up and get a match of 100% on up to $100 when you use the promo code Worst Take. A 100% match on up to $100 when you use the promo code Worst Take on the Sleeper app. Make sure you check it out if you haven't before. I want to thank Sleeper again for sponsoring the video. Now let's get back to it. This question comes from Effective Guy who says, why does it feel like we aren't focusing on the run game nearly enough to get it going? For how heavy emphasis it was that we go back to the run, we weren't really haven't seen it yet in 2 games. I don't know if that's true, if I'm being honest with you. Like, it might not feel like we're committing to the run because ultimately the run game is just so unproductive when they go to it that they can't run it a million times. But given how little production they've got from running the ball this year on average, it makes sense that they're not running a million times, because getting 2 yards, they got 2.4 yards a carry right now or something crazy like that, something low like that in the first halves of both these games, about 2.4 yards a carry. You're just not going to run the ball a ton when in the first half of these football games you're averaging 2.4 yards a carry. The answer is they need to be more productive when they get the ball in these situations. Like, the run game is just not as productive as it needs to be. They're not hitting on a high enough amount of plays called to justify getting the ball more, right? I know some people are going to fool themselves into thinking the Browns ran the ball well today against Baltimore, because the overall stats are going to say that the Browns ran the ball decently against Baltimore. But they did not, right? Like, they got 40 yards or something like that in the last drive of that game, where Jerome Ford had like 10, Quincy had 31 on one rush. Other than that, those two chunk plays, if you take them out, this run game was terrible, right? That's the thing. They can commit to the run all they want, but if the run game's not going to be productive, then there's nothing to commit to, because you're going 3 and out. Like, you can't commit to the run game if the run game's not getting you first downs. If the run game's not moving the ball, you can't. How can you commit to it? You're just going to go 3 and out. That's the problem. The lack of production in run game is why they can't focus on it and they can't commit to it, because they're not producing. They're not getting across the sticks with the run game right now. That's the issue, right? I promise you, they want to run this ball. They don't want to throw Joe Flacco 90 times in 2 games. That was not the plan coming into this season. It's almost never the plan with Kevin, right? Anytime, I've said this for 5 years, anytime you see a quarterback in this offense have to throw the ball 50 times, 48 times, Browns do it like 49 times in this game, something has gone terribly wrong. In a perfect world, he keeps the attempts from 34 to 38. That's where Kevin wants to sit. And they haven't been able to do that because the run game is not getting what the run game needs to get right now. Now, there's going to be some growth in that run game. I think these rookie running backs are going to come along and be good players down the line. Maybe even like later this year. I think Dylan showed a lot of promise. I think Quincy showed a lot of promise. But right now, they're just not as productive consistently in the run game as they need to be for this offense to produce while they want to, and for them to want to run the ball at the clip that they want to run it, because they're just not moving the sticks with it. You know, you can only commit to something so much when you can't move the ball doing it. And like with throwing the ball, like at least they're getting first downs when they throw the ball. They're not getting first downs consistently running the ball. Captain Dapper says, at what point can we start the youth movement on the offensive line? Would like to see Whippler, Tevin, and Zinter get snapped soon just to try to improve run blocking. Well, the fact that Zinter's been inactive the first 2 games is not encouraging to me. You can play Whippler at center. I don't know how much a center is really changing with the Browns run scheme. But sure, if you want to put Luke Whippler in there, I'm not going to stand in your way, right? I don't think Ethan Posick is like generationally good or anything like that, or even good at run blocking. So yeah, if you want to put Whippler in at center, sure, let's do it. I don't care. The big thing is like, hey man, how much of this is that Joe Bitonio doesn't look good right now? Now, I got to watch the film. I'm recording this before I watch the film. So it might be possible that Joe's not the problem. But I'm afraid that Joe's been the problem, or been one of the pieces of the problem. I don't think anybody's individually the problem right now. But I think Joel has not been helpful to the solution. And the real question is like, hey, do you ever get to a point to where you bench Joe Bitonio? I don't think the answer is yes. I think they will never bench Joe Bitonio. They're going to let him retire. I mean, they begged him to stay on the team this year. So I don't think you can bench that guy unless that guy chooses to retire midseason or something like that. I find it hard to believe that you could just bench him. He wants to play his last season out. He wants to go out, with pride and play well. And to give Joe his credit, there have been seasons where Joe gets off to a little bit of a slow start, and we're all worried that Joe's cooked like last year. And then Joe, by the end of the season, looks pretty good. This could be that, right? I don't know if the solution right now, 2 weeks in, is to start panicking and making personnel changes. I don't think that's going to be an effective way to fix your problems. Right now, if you're the Browns, you just need to get on sync with the run game, get the timing down, get guys where they need to, and just get your vets to start playing better. It's really that. Just got to stick through it for the time being. If we get to the bye week and the run game is still having issues, then we got to really have real conversations about a youth movement. But 2 weeks in, I think it's just too early to make these moves. Like, it's just too fickle. Guru says, what did you like from Judkins' first game, and how do you want to see Judkins in this running game and develop between Judkins and Sampson? Do we have the potential for a Chubb and Hunt duo? They will not look like Chubb and Hunt. You're not going to see anything like that anytime soon from these Browns running backs because the skill set for Judkins is just different than Nick Chubb. The skill set for Dylan Sampson is different than Kareem Hunt. It's going to be different. What I liked about Judkins in his first game is that he entered most of his runs positive, right? He didn't get tackled behind the line of scrimmage a ton. I thought you saw at the end of this game his break tackle ability, even though it wasn't really against the main starters of the Ravens, right? He wasn't breaking Roquan Smith's tackle on that on that big chunk play that he had. And I liked in that play that you saw the burst get to where it needed to with Judkins. He did look a little slow in this game to me. He didn't look as fast as I'm used to seeing him look. But outside of that, you saw a power back who can, use his strength to move bodies on the line of scrimmage. We'll see what else he has in his toolkit, if he can receive, how well he can pass protect, all of that stuff. But yeah, so far I've liked what I've seen from Judkins. I'm not blown away, but I'm excited, Saber says this. I think Flacco fever has passed. Do you think we should let Gabriel or Sanders play depending on who looks better in practice? Again, not right now. Eventually, but not right now. It's going to happen probably in October. But right now, just don't feel like the best move right now. Feels like we would just be scratching the itch if we played them right now. If they're developing well behind the scenes, then let them develop for another month and then put them in when the schedule isn't as erratic and as hectic as it is right now. Set them up for a situation to succeed instead of a situation to fail, because this fan base is going to be brutal. I mean, like, the media is just going to be brutal to any quarterback who comes in here, right? If Shedeur played against the Ravens today and had a clunker of a game, everybody be dancing on his grave right now. And the same is true of Dylan Gabriel. We're just so quick to react to one game and be like, oh man, that's everything. It's like it's one game. And to be fair to Joe Flacco, it's one game. Joe had a bad game Sunday against the Ravens. It's entirely possible he has a good game next week. And all of a sudden, people aren't calling for him to be benched, right? The thing about the internet is they can love you one day, they will hate you the next day, they will think you're the best thing to ever touch earth the next day. It's so fickle, it's so day to day. If the Browns win next week somehow against the Green Bay Packers, then people are going to be on Flacco fever again. It's really just the nature of how people talk about things. People are just so extreme and absolute about stuff that's not extreme or absolute right now. But that's Going to be it for that one. Let's hit the next question, which is Biggs, who says, who is at fault for the Browns being able to pass the ball further than 5 yards downfield? That is a result of your run game not being able to draw safeties down to the line of scrimmage. When you have a run game that's not presiding a threat to NFL defenses are going to just put a bunch of DBs out there, sit in soft shells, and be able to blanket everything downfield, and you're not going to get anything downfield. All you're going to get is checkdowns. So you got to be more dangerous offensively running the ball than the Browns are right now to open up anything. Tyrone says, hey, Q, originally I thought Flacco had about 7 games until a rookie would come in. Do you think the timeline has changed? Could see Gabriel or Sanders play week 4? No, I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think Sanders is going to leap Gabriel, right? Like, I don't think Sanders is playing anywhere. Sanders ain't playing before the bye week, in my opinion. Like, I don't think that's remotely happening. I don't think you're going to see Shador until, like, maybe December, maybe November. There's really no rush to play Shador from internally is what I'm hearing. And if he's not ready, he's not ready. Like, don't play him early. I think prospects like Shador, people tend to underestimate how long it takes them to adjust to the NFL. So, yeah, that's kind of nothing's changed for me. You know, I know people are overreacting to 17 points for 2 weeks, not having a great go of it the first 2 games. But to a point, this is kind of some of the stuff that we expected, right? We knew that this first 6 weeks would be tough for the Cleveland Browns. Didn't know exactly how it would be tough. Nobody can tell the future, but you knew it would be tough. It would be a challenge for this team, and it looks like a challenge for this team, and it's happening. So there it is. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.